it's amazing to think that when this TV show first aired way back in 1993, it would run 9 seasons originally, produce about 202 episodes, and guest, oh man, over 2,000 appearances. Here's just a taste. James Franco, Brad Dourif, Giovanni Ribisi, Lily Taylor, Lily Tomlin, Bryan Cranston, Jack Black, Shawnee Smith, Lance Guest, Peter Boyle, Mickey Knox, Ted White, you remember Jason from Friday the 13th, Ed Asner, Billy Drago, Tim Noonan, Manhunter, Jodie Foster, Lance Henriksen, Bill Reynolds, Danny Trejo, and of course, who can forget Bruce freaking Campbell? And let's not forget, enlisted the help of none other than Rick Baker and Alec Gillis. What are we even talking about here? One of the greatest TV cultural phenomena that ever grace itself across our TV sets. Of course, we're talking about The X-Files.
BodyBags, where horror lies.
Hey guys, Rob from Georgia here with you. I'm your Wednesday night host here at BodyBags. It is week 369. It is theme week. It is TV horror week. And so therefore, I just want to spend a few minutes talking about, man, I think the greatest horror TV series to ever grace itself on the screens in our living rooms. Of course, I'm talking about Chris Carter's X-Files, right? This thing opened up in 1993. It finally closed itself out 9 seasons later in 2002. Tucked in the middle of that, though, was a theatrical film, of course, Fight the Future, which was meant to bridge season 5 and season 6. In 2008, we have another theatrical film that will come out called I Want to Believe, which was fit more in the lines of the Monster of the Week, as it was referred to within the franchise. Really did not have much to do with the alien mythos that was created, the alien arc that was created over the course of the franchise, right? It really, 93 to 02, 202 episodes later, over 2,000 special guest appearances, which I highlighted at the very beginning, just the very pinnacle of that mountain of unbelievable appearances. It's a TV show that really, it broke new ground, but it stood on the shoulders of the greats that came before it, whether it was Night Gallery, Twilight Zone, trying to think, Night Stalker, Kojak Night Stalker, Chris Carter, man, he created this unbelievable world where, first of all, you just love the main characters. This thing revolves around 2 main characters, Fox Mulder, Dana Scully, of course Fox Mulder being played by David Duchovny and Dana being played by Gillian Anderson. And if there's a third major piece, of course, Walter Skinner, who is, of course, played by Mitch Pileggi, who, of course, we would have known a few years before the X-Files as none other than Horace Pinker and Shocker, right? And he'll, of course, be Agent Skinner. And if there's another one who we ought to mention, it is William B. Davis, who, of course, played the cigarette-smoking man. And he is sort of like the ultra-villain of the franchise, right? But one that we sort of come to respect a little bit towards the end, I think, or we definitely do like as a villain. He is a pretty good villain. So the X-Files, man, it had its run, man. And I was only 23. I was in the Army at the time. Lived down at Fort Hood, Texas. And so when this hit, man, I needed that outlet when I was in the Army. I was getting close to the last couple of years, and I was getting out. And I just needed that once a week escape, man. And it was nice to turn on the TV. Of course, that's back in the day, man, when we're still rolling with VCRs, and I don't think there's any DVDs yet. But TV was still a pretty big part of our lives. And the X-Files filled up not just 9 seasons, but of late, it gave us a shortened season 10 and then a 10-episode season 11, which, 10 and 11, I really don't think a whole lot of. I'm glad they tried to bring it back. I was really hoping maybe it would have set the stage for what Chris Carter had always dreamed of. And that was really just 5 seasons. Let's move these characters to the big screen. And when you really watch, if you're unfamiliar with the X-Files, the transition of these main characters and a lot of others that sort of surround them in the first 5 seasons, the transition of these, Fox and Dana, and of course Walter and the cigarette smoking man, to the big screen from TV. I mean, it was like, when we saw it that summer, it was like, this is what should have always been. This should have been an 8, 9, 10 film franchise, and we should have enjoyed it on the big screen. But instead, the studios, it was just too popular of a show, and they didn't want to cancel it. And so Chris Carter kind of got stuck. He kind of got wedged in there, and so it's probably a really major blessing that he even got this film. And then, of course, to follow it up with I Still Want to Believe, or I Want to Believe, which has really grown on me. It seems like every time I watch that movie, which last night I threw it on, it just seems like that movie grows on me more and more. And it really does fit in with that Monster of the Week. So this is a show whose arc really deals with 2 major things. It deals with this fear of this alien invasion sort of mythos arc. And then it also plays to that old Monster of the Week sort of standalone shows. And some of those shows, man, there's some good ones, man. And I was going back and revisiting a few yesterday and watched Irresistible, which is about this freaking creep, man, who gets off by taking things out of coffins off of dead people. And it's one of those that has just an absolutely phenomenal ending with just a moment of intimacy with Mulder and Dana, where he just sort of holds her and she's just put through the ringer in that one. And then, but several seasons later, they return to that in Orson and deal with the same main character, but he is let out of prison or where he's been put at the end of the first that episode, the first one, and so immediately get on the trail. There's another one like that, Tombs, where they get onto the trail of this guy who has this biological genetic ability to go into hibernation for huge lengths of time as long as he gets his quota of livers to eat. I think it was 5. And so they finally catch him. He's put away, but then like the next season they revisit it and he breaks out of prison and he's let out. He's let out and they quickly get back onto his trail and go after him. And but I loved how they did that with several times, or they had their part 1, part 2, or sometimes during the TV run there was a cliffhanger at the end of a season, and then you had to wait an entire off season to pick up where the last one left off. That was the greatness of old TV, if I date myself a little bit. But the X-Files, man, had an absolutely terrific run. It is the only TV show I ever really, really attached myself to, invested in. There are certain episodes that there are moments that will still make me want to tear up a bit. The very end of season 5 finale, the end, when Mulder and Scully are standing in his burned out office where he has lost everything. Compliments of the cigarette smoking man. Was just a phenomenal end. There are a lot of moments like that where you just get this great moment between Fox and Dana, and he's either bringing the compassion to her, or she's bringing to him, and together they just grow together as characters. It was a phenomenal run. It was one that I don't know if it'll ever quite be replicated ever again. I don't know. It was something else. But a few things to point out, just as a quick little overview. I said season 1 begins in 93, and then you got season 5, its finale will lead into the first theatrical film. We'll pick up season 6, the beginning, in 98. By the time the season comes to, or the arc of the franchise, season 9 comes to an end, we're in 02 now, and then in 08, I Want to Believe comes out. And then by 16, season 10, I think there was only My Struggle is the first one. I think there was only 6 episodes in that one. And then in 18, they brought out season 11, which had 10 episodes. So really, 25 stinking years, this thing. Of course, I mentioned it very early on. Rick Baker's been part of this. Alec Gillis. Bob Combs, I think it's Comer, a special effects guy. He did the special effects for our beloved Trick or Treat in 07. But the cinematographers, there were 7 of them that had a part in the X-Files phenomena. Only 7. And I'm not going to go through their names right now, but I will say this. As a result, these guys were attached to things like, I Want to Believe film, or Wrong Turn in 03, Band of Brothers, Masters of Horror, In the Tall Grass, Motel Hell, Stand By Me, The Running Man. So, I mean, you got some guys here that really know how to use the camera. Mark Snow, of course, our composer. He composed the New Mutants here in 20. But man, what a score he brought to the X-Files. It's one of those, you hear it, you know what it is immediately. I mean, there's no thinking about it. You just like X-Files. I mean, it's like hearing the beginning of Jaws, and it's like Jaws or Star Wars or whatever. It is the X-Files, man. This was a phenomenon. This was just a heck of a ride. And then, of course, I did mention, in the beginning, just some of the guests that appeared. That is, in fact, I watched Dreamland last night just so I could see Ted White, and I think he's in a diner taking care of. He's the guy who runs this diner, and you see towards the end. And of course, this is the guy who plays Jason in the final chapter, which is pretty cool. So, man, the X-Files. So the music, I mean, just the phenomena. I mean, we'll never know how it really impacted our culture. I don't know. Maybe in a few years, there'll be a really cool book that will really be able to just show us how it really impacted us as a culture. Its motto, trust no one, or the truth is out there. The level of cynicism towards our government probably went up over the run of its 9 seasons. But as well, just our level of cynicism about anything and everything in life. And I don't know how healthy that really is or not. But yeah, I mean, it's good to be aware. It's good to be careful, and not to put all of our trust into things around us. Maybe family, right? That's about family and whatnot. But anyways, the X-Files. So I just wanted to spend just a couple minutes talking about it. I love this. It'll always be for me one of my all-time favorite experiences. Seeing Fight the Future in the theater on the big screen was just amazing, and seeing how it bridged to, really popular seasons on TV. I don't know if that's ever been replicated or not. I don't think it's ever been done like that since. But yeah, the X-Files, man. If you just happen to be new to the whole concept, I know it's streaming on Hulu. You can watch it for free with commercials. That can be a real pain at times, but it is free. And then, of course, 20th Century Fox has released, there's a box set out there on Blue of the entire, I think 1 through 11, including the films probably. So the stuff's out there. But it's definitely worth checking out, or maybe re-immersing yourself into. So, during Theme Week, I hope you all enjoy each and every day as we drop those TV shows that for whatever reason we just want to spend a few minutes and highlight and talk about, and just enjoy the rest of this week. Appreciate so much just the time you spend just to watch and to like and to drop comments. Love the comments. And I do want to say I really do apologize for the lateness of late. But notification button somehow got turned off, and I rely on that too much, but I did catch up, and so apologize for that. Enjoy the rest of the week. Enjoy October, as it will spring upon us here very, very soon, and all that we have planned for Body Bags across that month as we head on closer to the end of the year. As always, we end these things off with Go Bills.
This is not a dream. Not a dream.